Hey, good morning, you guys. Okay, so the other day, or last week, the other morning, we were having conversations on a couple different things. We've been talking about tracking, like tracking your food, identifying where you are, not necessarily counting calories or counting macros, but just try to identify where you are. And I had a discussion with you guys about if something's not working for you. Like, Lydia, I'm doing all the things, but they're not working. There's three reasons, right? Because your calories might be too low, so you have metabolic adaptation, and or they're too high because you don't know how many calories you're taking in. Your macros could be off, so it's not necessarily just the calories, but your proportions of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And then third is you have a hormonal imbalance. Like, say you're eating all the right things and you have a hormonal imbalance. Top 5 for women is high insulin, high cortisol levels, sluggish thyroid, right? Insulin, did I say insulin? And then your sex hormones, which is testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Okay, so the question is, how do you fix, like you think you have a hormonal imbalance. How do you fix it? Okay, so there's a difference between hormonal imbalance and hormonal decline. Okay, so we're just simply talking about hormonal imbalances. Hormonal imbalances come when the type of stress that we're dealing with come from inflammation, come from the food that we're taking in. So the things that we always want to look at, we want to look at our stress, we want to look at our food, we want to look at our activity, we want to look at our rest or sleep, and then our habits. And our habits are all 4 of those, right? They like food habits, activity habits, stress habits, sleep habits. So we need to take inventory of those things. If you feel that you have a hormonal imbalance looks like like all of a sudden you're gaining weight and you don't know why, you haven't changed anything. Mood swings, night sweats, hot sweats, low libido, low energy, just feeling blah. You're showing thyroid symptoms like maybe sensitivity to hot or cold, those different type of things. All right, so there's a lot to say here, so I can't go into all of it. But let's say you feel that you have a hormonal imbalance. So you first want to take inventory. Instead of saying, okay, I think I have a thyroid issue. I think my estrogen's out of whack. I think this. Yeah, you want to go get tested. But before you get tested, take inventory of your stress, your food, your activity, right? Your sleep, and your habits. Now let's just talk about food right now. I'll talk about the others at another time. Take inventory of your food. What type of food are you taking in? So are you taking in a lot of processed foods? Because processed foods are going to contribute to high insulin levels. They're going to contribute to inflammation, right? Depending on that processed food, what's in it. Like if it has, your mega trans fat oils, like your seed oils, your vegetable oils, your corn oils, then that throws your body off as well as far as inflammation. It disrupts your hormone production, your metabolic hormones. There's all a bunch of different things. Now, I want you to understand, it's not that I never have bread, because you guys, if you follow me regularly, I eat pasta, I eat pizza, I eat bagel every morning, okay? And I do it in the form of gluten-free. That doesn't mean that it's better, because it doesn't matter if it's gluten-free, doesn't matter if it's a plant-based food, if it's processed, okay, it's still contributing to a hormonal imbalance if that's what you're dealing with. So take inventory of the foods that you're taking in. So how much processed food are you taking in? See, I limit how much I will consume. Perfect example today, I'll do 3 eggs and I'll do a bagel or a gluten-free bagel, or I'll do 2 slices of a gluten-free bread. Well, for dinner, I'm not going to add some more refined products on there. Then I'm probably going to do potatoes, right? Or I could have reversed it and said, okay, I'm going to do pasta tonight for dinner, so I'm not going to do the bread for breakfast. Does that make sense? So I'm not telling you that's what you need to switch. I want you to just take inventory of your food. How much whole food are you taking in versus processed food? Clean protein, like organic poultry or grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish? How many vegetables are you taking in on a regular basis? When I'm talking about vegetables, your green vegetables, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, your spinach, your kale, your asparagus, cauliflower, that's not green, but how much of it are you actually taking in? How much water are you consuming? What are your carbohydrates? Okay, vegetables are carbohydrates, but now let's talk about starchy carbohydrates. Are your starchy carbohydrates coming in the form of processed foods? And again, it doesn't matter if it says it's organic, doesn't matter if it says gluten-free, doesn't matter if it's a plant-based impossible burger crap, it's still processed. So process is process is process, and that contributes to hormonal imbalance. So because it's the ingredients, you have to start looking at the ingredients. But again, it doesn't matter how clean the ingredients is. If it's gone through a process and manufactured, then it's still harder on your system. So you want to limit how much you're taking in. Now, are you eating sweet potatoes or white potatoes, purple potatoes? It doesn't matter what type of potatoes. Potatoes are whole. Are you doing whole grain rice? Are you doing beans? Are you doing lentils? And some of it, depending on your digestion, you might not be able to do it. But that's where you first want to take inventory. Take inventory with your food. I'm not trying to judge you or pick things apart. I just want you to say, okay, am I eating more whole foods than processed foods? That's the first place to start. You always start with your food first. Why? Because food is nutrition, right? It's going to give you the materials, the raw materials in order to produce the right type of hormones, right? Because you only produce hormones from fat and protein, right? And then carbohydrates are going to tell those hormones what to do. So you got to say, how much whole food am I actually taking in? That's the key. So start there. It's stress, it's food, it's activity, it's sleep, and it's your habits. But let's just start looking at your food. I would love to hear, once you take inventory today on your food, what did you learn? All right, you guys, get it? Got it? Good. Talk to you later. Bye.